Good afternoon, everybody. Ron Wheeler here. I want to welcome all of you to today's presentation, which is called How to Generate 3% per Month with One Option Trade Per Week. You are in, I think, for a really good experience this afternoon. I got a lot of great things to cover about creating income using options trades. So I hope you're excited about it as well. I am starting the room here just a few minutes early, mainly because I like to make sure that everything is working and there's no issues with the technology or anything like that. So do me a favor. If you can hear my voice and see my screen, just as the graph says, if you can do all that, let me know. That way I know that all of the technology stuff is working. All right, let's take a look. I see David out there and perfect. Good to have you with us. Nice. Yep, there we go. Now they're starting to kind of come in a little bit more handy. And then I see Mike in there. I see Randy. I see Jacques, David. All right, cool. Looks like everything is working as needed. Clinton as well, and Donald is also good, excellent. So early returns are favorable as people are still checking in. So as you're checking in, do me a favor. I see the numbers starting to really start to increase here. So as you're checking in, just let me know if you can hear me and see my screen. And then also, while you're getting used to finding out where that chat window is, which is in the lower right-hand corner of your GoToMeeting webinar, do me a favor, share with me. What time is it by you? I'm just curious. I do these in the Eastern time zone. I'm from Ohio, so a little bit south of Cleveland, a little bit west of Akron. So I'm a born and raised Ohioan. VectorVest has an office in Ohio that I work out of. My colleagues work down in North Carolina out of that office, so we have a little bit different geography here. It's probably nicer down there than it is in Ohio, to be completely fair. But it's about 4:57, so we're going to start in about 3 minutes or so. I'm just kind of curious to see where everybody is. Yep, 5 p.m. Donald, 4:56, 5 p.m. 4:57, 2:56. All right, Randy, thank you for checking in with me. Alberta 2:57. So mainly looks like here in North America, I'd say 2:56, 2:57. So that's out west, 3 hours, or actually it's like Central Time or Mountain Time. 5 p.m. That's where I am, and 4:56. So cool. Looks like most of you are here in North America. Every now and then we get somebody in there from like Europe or Australia. It's pretty cool. I always love broadcasting these things to places like Australia because as great as Australia is, as great as the whole country is, I don't like getting on an airplane for like 23 hours to get there. And I used to have to do that way back in the day when I did these sessions live. But this is a live session, don't get me wrong, but like in person. There's nothing better than getting out there in person and seeing people face to face. But those travel days, ugh, I'm glad I did it when I was young because I am done with that. So that's good. All right, and then also, I'm just kind of curious, what do you do for a living? You retired? You still working? Only reason I'm curious is I like to see what the demographics is. The beautiful thing about what you're going to learn today is it doesn't really matter if you're retired or you're still working like I am. What you're going to see today is you're going to see a good way to create a second income stream. Whether, you're looking for a second income stream as a job, whether you're looking for extra retirement income. I always ask because I originally put this concept together for someone who is retired and wanted to create additional income. But I've found out through the years, I've taught this idea to people that were as young as 14 years old as 92, I think the oldest one I remember was. So it's kind of all over the place, which is really great. Okay. A lot of retired folks. Jacques, Donald, David, Clinton. You guys were the first ones to respond. I see a bunch of other ones coming in there. So a lot of retirees. I commend you and I'm jealous. I'm ready to be retired myself. I'm only 47, unfortunately. So I got a little bit more wealth accumulation I got to do yet. I'm still in that final number phase. I got to get that last of that wealth created. Then, my wife and I can move to Florida and live our happy years. Also, of course, I'm a late bloomer, which doesn't help. I'm 47. I'll be 48 later this year. I have 3 kids. My oldest is 7. So that also makes it a little bit a little bit challenging to retire early, but all good. They keep me young. They keep me moving, which is nice. So that's always good. All right. Well, we're about 30 seconds or so away from the top of the hour. So I am going to take a real quick second here, grab a cup of coffee. Well, not grab a cup of coffee, take one last sip of my coffee, and then we will get started. All right, got my last minute things handled. Let's officially get started. I want to welcome you all to today's webinar called How to Generate 3% per month with as little as one option trade per week. In today's webinar, I'm going to be showing you the breakthrough system we developed here at VectorVest that's going to help us generate income in any market. Now, the information I'm going to share with you has not only changed my life and my trading style, I've seen it change the lives of so many people. So I hope you're excited about what you're going to see today. In this webinar, you're going to begin making a paycheck averaging about 3% per month or more. Now, keep in mind, this can be done regardless of market direction. Bullish or bearish markets doesn't make a difference. You can do it with little to no prior experience with options. It's something that's safer than just going out there and buying stocks or going short stocks if you do that. And it's something that you can implement very, very quickly. Now, I know this may sound too good to be true, and you might be thinking, is this legit? And you want some proof. Well, I would too if I were you. I see those overhyped advertisements of the guys next to their Lamborghinis talking about crypto and NFTs and all this crud, flying their private jets. Listen, I'm not like that. I try to be real. I want to let the results stand for themselves, and I'm going to let you decide. This is how we did last year. I trade a real money account with my clients. Each week we place live trades together. The paycheck system we used made over $37,000 in our $100,000 account. That was an average of 3.1% per month. And I want to point out a couple numbers with you guys here that are going to be useful as we go forward. Number one, my win rate. My win rate last year was a little bit lower than I would like, but no big deal. I really honestly don't care about the win rate. Average winner $1,000, average loser $1,000. So I don't have huge losses. You'll also notice that I don't make money every single month. I had 12 months last year. I made money in 8 months, and I lost money in 4. But you're seeing consistency. This is how a real trading system works, and that's the beauty of it. So these numbers are real. In fact, I got an email from a client who just took the course, and he said, hey, Ron, wanted to send a quick email to thank you and your team for the SPX Paycheck course back in September. I've been using the method and tracking my performance and thought you'd like to see the results. I entered my first 35 Delta trade on September 21st with only $5,000 in my margin account. Now, less than 3 months later, I'm already up 24%. Thanks again. I'll be teaching this method to my retired in-laws and help them grow their account in retirement. Now, I love hearing that. I really do. And this is also a lesson for you. You don't need to dedicate $100,000 to this. You can start very small, like Carrie did, but it builds up very quickly. In fact, if you started with $5,000, averaging that 3% per month, compounded over 15 years, puts you at $1 million, starting with just $5,000. Now, if you start with $25,000, you'd be at near $1 million after 10 years. You're ultimately looking at some serious money. Now, clearly, if you have more than 5 or 25, you'd get there much faster. Now, some of my clients, like Carrie, were kind enough to share their photo and the results with you. Now, we're going to talk about a few of them today, and these are real people just like you. So as I teach you the system today and share their stories, I want you to pay close attention because you might find yourself in a very similar position now as they were when they started. So again, my name is Ron Wheeler, and I'm the options trading manager here at VectorVest. I've been trading now for 27 years. And when I first started out, I was a commodities day trader, and I mostly had losses. In fact, I even blew out or lost a couple of my trading accounts. And the reason I was losing was because I was trading in a way that required me to be right to make money. If I bought something, it had to go up. If I went short something, it had to go down. Bottom line is, if I wasn't right on direction, I would lose money. I dabbled in options. That was a failure. It took me a couple of years to get my feet wet and really become a good trader. Now, I was never an options guy, but early on in my career, one of our clients came into our office. He was actually a hedge fund manager. He came to our office to visit, and he showed me how the institutions trade and they make money. Long story short, he showed me the inside secrets to actually using options correctly to set up probability. Basically, even if I'm wrong with my analysis, I could still make money. He showed me that you could use options in a way that also controls your risk. You know the risk up front. Basically, he showed me how to stack probability while controlling my risk. Think of the pressure that takes off you. You don't even have to be right to make money. Now, in today's webinar, I'm going to show you the exact system I use to generate these types of returns, case studies and examples of our clients who are doing this, and I'm going to show you our system so that if you learn and follow our strategy, You can do the same. And stay with me to the end. I put together a little checklist for you to help you plan out your trade with a lot of the things that we talk about today. It's a PDF. We'll put it right in the handout section and go to webinar. We'll drop it right in there. You can click on it, print it out today. But do me a favor, just give me a quick reminder when we get to the end of that Q&A section, because most of the times after about an hour, I forget, okay? Now, why is this such an important topic? Because without an income system, it's on you, and that creates a number of problems for us. If you're not retired, it keeps us stuck in a situation where we have to work in order to live. Whether you got a lot of money or no money at all, concerns about finances are one of the leading causes of stress. Worrying about whether we'll have enough or if we'll run out of money, that can have a big impact on our life, our health, even our relationships. If you're already retired, you might be watching your savings get depleted faster than you can fill it, especially with the prices that have gone up so much. If things don't improve, you may fear you'll continue to have losses that draw down your account. You're going to get behind on your goals, maybe even question your ability as an investor. You might even fear that as a retiree, you'll have to give up on investing and simply just go back to work. Worst case scenario, you're going to run out of money during retirement. Now, with a system that helps you generate income, things are a lot different. And I think this is probably one of the most important points of the webinar. So pay attention here. Write it down even. To be financially free, your main need is income. To be financially free, you need to learn to generate enough income from your investments that covers your expenses and lifestyle needs. So let me say this again. In order to become financially free, you need to learn to generate enough income from your investments to cover your expenses and lifestyle needs. So whether you're still working or you're retired, that ability to generate income from your investments is one of the most empowering skills that you can have. Because when you have the ability to generate income from your investments, your life will change. If you're still working, you can increase your earning capacity. It's like having a second job. If you're retired, you can have a consistent source of income as if you quit your job, but they kept paying you. It's like a tap you can turn on whenever you want. That allows you to do the things you want to do now and when you retire. When you got a system to help you generate income, it can help you retire younger. So as I said, and I believe this is one of the most important points of the presentation, so I'll say it again. When the income from our investments exceeds our living expenses, we become financially free or have the ability to retire. For example, Brian is a client of ours who's a great example of how easy you could become proficient at drawing an income from the market, even if you don't want to invest a lot to begin with. Brian had some health problems. He said he needed a way to supplement his income. By using the options paycheck system, he was able to generate $23,000 in profits, starting with just $6,000. He said in 10 months, he had all winning trades, 31 out of 31 winning trades, using our most basic system. Now, the key point here is this. This is not beginner's luck. It was the result of following the system. The system is what helped Brian get 100% winning trades and create that 23 grand in profits. And again, he started with just $6,000 and it took him 10 months. So the first thing you need to know to take control of your returns, it's a bit of a strategic mindset shift, I call it. You're either going to continue being the gambler where you lose more than you win, or you're going to become an option seller and win more than you lose. Why? Because being an option seller is the way that you can make consistent income each month. It allows you to win even when you're wrong. Now, why do you want to be the casino or the house? Well, number one, the house always wins. And number two, the house always wins because they control and they stack probability in their favor. The options paycheck system is built around that stacking the odds massively in your favor. So make a note of this. In order to control your returns and results, you need to know how to stack probability in your favor. And the obvious question is, well, how do we do it? The first step is that shift from being the buyer of options to being the seller. So let me explain. Bruce is a great example of that shift from gambling on stocks to being in the casino and controlling and stacking probability in his favor. He said prior to working with us, he had mainly taken stock tips from brokers. Bruce focused on our SPX income system, which is our basic trading system. He said he's not the most technical person in the world, but in the time he's been working with us, he's grown his trading account from 100 to 497,000 in 3.5 years. He said he's achieving a 74% win percentage simply by following the rules of the options paycheck system. And the whole system takes him around 15 minutes a day, he says. So let me show you how this works. Here's an example of a typical trade you've been taught to make. You find a stock you like, you think it's going to go up, so you either buy shares of it or maybe you buy a call option. Why? Because as an options trader, if you started learning options, it's what you're taught to do. A call is the equivalent of being long the stock. So if you think it's going to go up, you buy a call. But what ends up happening a lot of times? Either the stock doesn't go up, or maybe it doesn't go up enough. That's even worse. And that call you bought ends up expiring worthless. Has that ever happened to you? That was my first foray into options trading too. Well, what's causing you to lose? What's the problem? Most people feel they picked maybe the wrong stock. Maybe they chose the wrong strike price of the option. Maybe they didn't choose an expiration far enough out. But let's focus on the real problem. If you've been losing money or had more losers than winners with other systems, it's not your fault. It's because most of the systems on the planet teach you to be on the wrong side of the trade. You're taught to buy an option, but as a buyer, the probabilities are not on your side. And for most people, they end up buying and losing and buying and losing and buying and losing. Our options paycheck system teaches you a new way of thinking. You need to be a seller and not a buyer. This is how you get ahead of everyone else. This is how we can put probability on our side. And this is how we can win even if we're wrong. So I want to take a closer look at what selling options means. As a buyer, a typical trade would give you a 50-50 chance to be a winner. Because when you buy, the only way you make money is if the stock moves in your direction. So instead of having that buyer's mentality, we're going to have a seller's mentality. Instead of hoping the stock just goes up, as a seller, you're going to strategically set up your trade using probability. So you've got a $204 stock, and we're going to say, hey, instead of just going up, now all we have to do is stay above 195, and we can make money. We're putting probability in our corner. Think about what that does. You can pick a price underneath the stock, in this case about an $8 distance, and as long as it stays above there, you will make money. If it goes up like you hope it will, you make money. If it goes sideways, you're going to make money. If it goes down, as long as it stays above 195, you're going to make money. If it goes below 195, you'll take a very small loss. Right from the beginning, probability is in your favor. And in some trades, we can even add more probability to it. We can simply choose a lower price, like at this 190 level, and now as long as the stock just stays above 190, we win. In a lot of our trades, we can actually get a 70% baseline probability, and you can only do this as an option seller. As a seller, you're putting the probability of success in your favor, and this is why I call it an income trade. I define an income trade as one where you can make money even if you're wrong on direction. Now, Bruce continues to trade with me every week. In fact, he actually posted this morning in my coaching class that he has 85% accuracy in the month of January. He's having a really good month of January. We all are. He actually posted this in our private Facebook group. He said, another day of trading on the beach. Got my eyes on AMC and a cold beer. Life's good. Thank you, VectorVest and Ron, for giving us the tools to do what we do from anywhere. That is a great picture of financial freedom. I can't wait to be there with him. Now, Mike was someone who dabbled with options but said he lost on each trade. Have you ever been there? Can you imagine how frustrating that must be to lose on each of your trades? Well, eventually he gave it up. He tried to learn more about options but said he never felt comfortable he knew what he was doing because he didn't have any set criteria. So Mike and I worked together. I taught him the options paycheck system of being an option seller, and he said he became like an income machine. After he learned the system, he went out and said he had 17 out of 19 winning trades with a profit of over $12,000 in 4 months. Now, here's the deal. The key lesson is going from buyer or the gambler to the seller, or what we call the house or the casino. That turned his situation around, the system. He was so proud of his success, he even sent me a spreadsheet of his trades. Now, here's Mike's results. First off, I want you to notice the number of winners versus losers. That's the profit column. See that right here. There's the losers. And I also want you to notice the work days to close. 2, 3, 4, 7, 10, 11, 13. He's making about $1,000 every 7 to 10 days. And by the way, that's typical. The average trade that we do lasts about 7 to 10 days. These are not day trades or anything crazy like that where you're going to have to be over here watching the market every tick, okay? If you're like Mike and a lot of our students, you can begin by just trading the SPX. That's an index that tracks the S&P 500. This involves only one trade per week and has averaged about 4% plus per month since 2016. The odds are stacked in your favor on these trades. You're not looking to become, a millionaire overnight by one big home run trade. You're growing your account steadily and safely each year. And that really is the key takeaway here. Those home run trades might look good, but singles are what win the games. These singles are what will enable you to never run out of money and be able to do the things that you want to do. So you've seen by flipping that script from buyer to seller, you can stack the odds significantly in your favor. Now, what we're going to do next is we're going to stack the odds even further by understanding and capitalizing on the three most common buyers or gamblers' mistakes. So the first mistake that option buyers make is they choose unrealistic strike prices. They choose strikes that are so far away, the stock has no chance of hitting it. Let me explain. Here's a stock. Let's say someone's bullish on the stock. A mistake a lot of options buyers make is they buy calls that have strike prices way above the current stock. Now the stock's at $215. If you buy a $230 call, you're not going to make any significant money until the stock goes up $15 to $20 a share. Well, if that's the case, why would somebody even buy that option? It's because most buyers treat options like lottery tickets. You can buy that option for $50. Maybe you'll make money, maybe you won't. Chances are you won't, and most of the time they're going to lose. Now, since there's going to be buyers out there who buy those options, well, we may as well be the one who sells it to them. Because since that stock has a very small chance of going up $15 or $20 a share in a short amount of time, that gives me a high probability of winning. Now, the same goes for puts. There's people who buy puts way down below the market. Same reason, right? They think the stock will go down. But they buy a put so far lower than the market, they have a very small chance of actually seeing profits. Now, there's some people that buy puts down there to act as insurance for their underlying stock positions. Listen, it doesn't matter why they're doing it. They're always going to be there. Okay? Let them. Selling these options gives us a 60 to 90% probability of success right from the very start of the trade. Now, the second mistake that buyers make is they choose options with expiration dates that are too close to the current date. It's like when you go to the grocery store and you see a piece of steak on the discount rack. Yes, it's cheap, but why is it cheap? It's cheap because it's going to spoil in 24 hours. If you don't cook it, you just wasted your money. And the same is true for options. Here you see what happens to the price of an option in relation to the days to expiration. Over here in the upper left, we're 180 days to expiration. As that option ticks closer and closer to the expiration, you can see the option losing its value. What does that mean? It means this. If you bought an option for $100 out here, by the time you get to here, it's going to be worth $50. The option is losing its value. But something dramatic happens in the final 45 days. You can see that decay pick up exponentially. The time decay becomes rapid, and this is terrible for an option buyer. But a lot of people like to buy their options in that final 45 days because the premiums are cheap. Well, we're going to use that to our advantage, and we are going to sell options in that window. Now, to be more specific, we're going to sell most of our options in the 21 to 45 day to expiration range. That's our sweet spot, if you will. Now, I want you to take a look at this graph of Home Depot. Most buyers will buy an option maybe out here 30, 40 days away, right? But that expiration's too close. Because remember, in the final 45 days of an option's life, it starts decaying in value fast. This is bad for the option buyer. But we're going to be the option seller. You're going to let time decay work in your favor. Now, again, remember this. There's always going to be people buying options that have those expiration dates too close. You may as well be the one who sells them the options because let them be the gambler. You be the casino because you will win in the end. Now, the third mistake that option buyers make is they simply pay too much. They buy what's called an overpriced option. So I want to show you what I'm talking about. Here's two stocks. I want you to look at the top here. Notice both stocks are around the same price, 76 bucks. In fact, they're like 8 cents apart. But even though the two stocks are almost the same price, look at the difference in option premium. Over on the left, you got a $9 premium. Over on the right, it's $1.80. Why are they so different? Same strike, same expiration, but one is much higher. Why? Well, that stock on the left has extremely high volatility, and that leads to the option being very expensive. Buyers who buy these options are paying too much. Well, what's the big deal, right? It's a $9 option. It's not a lot of money. It's not about the cost. It's about what the cost does. Watch what happens. The stock goes up $8 a share from 76 to 84 bucks. You thought the stock was going to go up. You did the right thing. You picked the direction like a champ. You bought a call just like you were taught to do. Over on the left, that call that you bought lost money. Over on the right, you got a 300% return. That's the problem with overpriced expensive options. Why? It all comes back to that volatility. That high volatility made the premium so expensive, the stock had a hard time overcoming it. Now, those overpriced expensive options are very, very good for me as the seller. When we sell these high volatility overpriced options, guess what? It reduces our risk and we can put probability even more in our favor. An overpriced expensive options helps me stack probability even more on our side. Now, Bob, another one of our clients, he has one of the most interesting stories I've seen. I don't think I've laughed that hard with talking to a client in a long time when I talked to him. He said prior to working with us, he was making a bunch of the mistakes we talked about here, and it said it cost him dearly. In fact, he ended up either broke or bankrupt 3 times. In his own words, came close to living under a bridge. The options paycheck system helped Bob turn his situation around in as little as 4 months. He learned to turn these mistake liabilities into strategies to control and stack probability in his favor. In 4 months, Bob grew his account by 71% and achieved a 79% winning trade percentage. Remember, in order to control your returns and your results, you need to know how to control and stack probability in your favor. Here's what I want you to do. In the chat window, type a response. Have any of you ever made any of those buyer's mistakes? Just give me a simple yes or no in the chat. Don't have to be too detailed. Just a simple yes or no. All right, I see lots of yeses coming in there. Lots of yeses. Oh, Clinton, you said no. That's great. I hope you didn't make those mistakes. I also see a couple of you said, you're not really experienced enough at options yet. Let me tell you something. For those of you that are newer at options, you're my favorites because I can teach you how to be a proper options trader right from the very start. So a lot of yeses. That's pretty much typical. Okay, listen, we've all made these mistakes at some point in our career. It's not your fault. You were simply just taught a broken system. Simple as that. Now that you know how to, at this point, let's hope you want to be an option seller. You've seen the benefits just by the results of some of our clients, my results, etc. Next is we need to learn how to trade with very little risk. Because when a lot of people hear the word options, and especially the term selling options, they immediately think it's risky. However, the options paycheck system uses a very low risk strategy for selling options. And this is why I told you earlier, this is a core strategy that I came up with for the retiree, someone who has no business having a lot of risk. Why is reducing risk so important? Because most people who don't use the options paycheck system, they're not preserving their capital. They have one bad trade comes in, wipes out all the gains from a bunch of winners. We're going to talk a lot more about this as we get into some not live examples, but some pre-done examples. Now, if you remember from my early story about that client that came in and kind of introduced me to the concept of being an option seller, if you remember, one of the things I said was you control your risk right from the very start of the trade. Now, if this happens to you, you're not using a good system. I've never had this happen to me as an option seller. I've never had one trade wipe out 10 winners, 8 winners, 7 winners, 6 winners, 5 winners. It's never happened to me. And the reason why it's never happened to me is because I would never take a risk like that. I would never do it. The benefit of being an option seller and a good option seller with the right system is you know your risk up front. Because if this happens to you, it becomes very hard to recover. When you have those large losses, it takes a long time to recover. So to do this safely, you got to have the right system with a built-in protection plan. You're going to take care of risk management before you even open the trade. Because if you do that, that's how you preserve and grow your capital. Selecting the right stocks, setting up the trades the right way that reduces risk. Like I said earlier, those home runs look good, but singles are what win the games. Now, one of the most common questions I get is, can I trade this from an IRA? A client of ours, John, he said he grew his IRA over 112% in 1 year using the options paycheck system. John had tried and struggled with trading for some time before working with us. He learned to follow the system and turned his inconsistent results into predictable monthly income. He said in 12 months, he enjoyed 85% winning trades and more than doubled the size of his IRA while spending no more than 15 minutes per day on his trading. I actually trade a little bit in IRA too. You know, I've got that 100,000 account I told you about. I actually have a smaller IRA that I do some SPX trading in. So it's very doable from an IRA. Now, the options paycheck system makes sure you reduce your risk before you open the trade. How do we do it? Well, first, we choose stocks that are low risk. We have a very specific criteria, but in general, if we're bullish, we start by focusing on good stocks that are already rising in price, similar to what you see here. Then, instead of selling an option, what's called naked, we're going to sell with protection. So let me show you how to do this. A traditional option selling system leaves you with all of this risk down here. The options paycheck system is going to shrink your list just to this. This is what going to be your risk now. So let me show you how this works. This is, again, a graph of a typical stock we'd be bullish on. It's a beautiful graph, and it's understandable to be bullish on a stock that looks like this. Now, traditionally, you would just go out, you'd buy the stock, right? Maybe even buy a call using the current stock price as a basis for your strike price. But we're not the buyer anymore. We're the seller. So here's what you're going to do. We are going to go in a bullish market. We are going to go underneath the current stock price, and we are going to sell a put. When you sell the put, you receive premium. You're selling something, so you get paid. In this example, let's say we get paid $200 per contract. If we did 10 contracts, we get paid $2,000. Now that's great, right? Well, the problem is you have no downside protection. Here's what I mean by this if you've never been an option seller before. The best way I can describe being an option seller is comparing it to car insurance or house insurance or any kind of insurance that you buy. When I send a check out, okay, technically I don't send a check out. I just do an electronic funds transfer because, don't really send any checks anymore. I send money to my insurance company for 6 months of coverage at a time. I send them the premium. They have to now protect my assets for the next 6 months. If something breaks, they have to fix it. If nothing breaks, they keep the premium, my policy expires, and we do the same thing for the next 6 months. Option selling is similar in the way that when you sell an option, it's not like selling your car, right? Where you just sign the title over, pay off any liens, and just give the car away to the next person. They have all the risk now. When I sell a put, the contract states that I may have to buy the stock for the strike price that I sold by expiration date. Most of those expire with no value. So when I sell this put at 135, the contract says that I may be called upon to buy the stock for $135. Now, how would that happen? Let's say something terrible happens to this stock and all of a sudden it opens up at $100 a share. I may be forced to buy the stock at $135 because that's what my contract says. I now own a stock for $135. It's trading at 100. I think we can all agree that's not a good place to be. So let's protect ourselves. In the same transaction as we sell this put, we are going to limit our risk to just this by buying an insurance put. Now, the insurance put does have a cost. We collected $200 when we sold the option. Now we're going to spend $100 of that to buy our insurance. You're going to be left getting paid $100 to place this trade. If you did 10 contracts of it, you would get paid $1,000. Now, here's what that insurance does. Let's say the exact same thing happens. All of a sudden, this stock opens up at $100 a share. You are forced to buy the stock at 135 possibly. And I say possibly because there's no guarantee you're still going to have to buy the stock. But now that put that you bought gives you the ability to sell it to somebody else for 130. Okay? You've actually limited your risk to $5. Now, let me also tell you, I've been selling options and doing these trades for over 15 years now. I've never actually done that. I've never actually had to go out there, buy the stock, and then sell it to somebody else. It's never happened to me because you're never going to let a trade do that to you. Okay? This is all theoretical. This is what you could have happen. I've never had it happen in 15 years. Okay? It just doesn't happen. Now, some people would say, well, Ron, if it's never happened, why would you even buy the insurance, right? Well, you buy the insurance for a lot of reasons. Number one, you like to have that disaster insurance. That's important. Number two, that insurance protects you from a lot of things. It's a hedge if the trade goes against you. It protects you against big spikes in volatility. It's just really makes the trade cheaper to do. It's better for your asset allocation. There's just so many reasons to buy that insurance other than just protecting yourself. So think about what this trade does now. If the stock goes up, you're going to become profitable. How will you become profitable? Because as the stock goes up, the options that you traded are going to slowly start losing and very rapidly, in some cases, lose their value. If the stock goes sideways, they're still going to lose their value. And as long as the stock stays, in this case, above 135, we can still make money. And if the stock drops below 135, we take a small proportional loss. Now, here's what I want to do. I actually want to show you some trades that I did. Okay, these are some of the trades that I made last year, which is included in that 37%. First thing I want to talk about is this. We trade directionally. If the overall market is bullish, I only place bullish trades. Okay? So in a bullish market, I only trade bullish. I don't go against the trends. And here's another really tip. We're going to be picking option strikes that give us at least a 60% chance of winning. And I'll explain how this works. So here's a stock trade that I made last year in mid to late June. Pulte Group. Very nice uptrend. Who wouldn't want to own this stock? Let's zoom in a little closer. Stock is trading for 76 bucks. Now, a cool thing is that when you go into most brokers, you can look at all the option strike prices. You'll get to see what the cost is, and you'll also get to see probability numbers. What are these probability numbers? Well, Pulte is trading at $76. I go out, I look for an option that expires in 21 to 45 days, and I look at the strike prices. I'm looking for a put, and I'm looking at the probabilities. If I sell a $75 put, it tells me that I have a 56% chance of being above $75 at expiration. So if I sell a $75 put on Pulte, I've got a 56% baseline probability of winning. If I go down to B, which is at $73, I have a 73% probability of staying above that. That means that my trade has a 73% chance of winning. If I go all the way down to 70, that means the stock has a 91% probability of staying above 70 by expiration. If I went there and sold a $70 put on Pulte, my trade has a 91% chance of success. How? Because let's look at that 91%. If I sell this option down here, I make money as long as the stock goes up, sideways, or as long as it stays above that, I can make money. Okay? And likewise, if I chose B at $73, it'd be the same thing. As long as it stayed above here, I can make money. 56%, as long as it stayed above there, I would make money. Now, let me ask you guys a question. All right? Not knowing anything else about being an options trader, if I showed you 3 trades, one at 56% probability, 73, and 91%, which one would you want? Which one would you pick? Not knowing anything else about being an option trader, would you rather be 56% right, 73% right, or 91% right? Tell me in the chat. What would you rather be? This is a leading question, by the way. All right. Jacques, you said 91. Clinton, you said 91. John, you said 91. Listen, you'd want to be 91% right. Honestly, right? Who wouldn't want to be 91% right in their trades? I sure as heck would if I could. But here's the problem. What happens if you're right 9 out of 10 times? 9 winning trades, 1 loser. Okay? 90% correct. Well, what if your 9 winning trades you made $9,000 on? Sounds pretty good. But that 1 losing trade, you lost $12,000 on. Being 91% right isn't so good anymore. This is why we say we want to try to pick a probability around that 60% level, greater than 60%. So in this particular instance, those of you that said B, 73%, you're right. Now again, I led some of you onto that 91% answer because I wanted to talk about this. Now something magical happens around that 60 to 70% level. What happens is you start getting a good chance of probability and you start seeing a risk and reward that start evening out. You may have a $1,000 win and a $1,000 loss with a 73% chance of being right. Now, this trade that I place is called a bull put spread. I sold a $73 put and I bought a $70 put in one transaction. Bull put spread's a great name for it. Number one, because it's something you do when the stock is bullish. Puts, because we're doing this with puts. And spread, because we're doing a $3 difference between our strike prices. Now, this trade made about 876 profit in 3 trading days. I was looking to make about 1,650 at the most. 876 is my profit target. I'm out of the trade in 3 days. Okay? Very nice, very fast trade. Now, last year, the market also had times when it was bearish. So I placed bullish trades last year during uptrends, bearish trades during downtrends. This is an example of a bearish trade I took in late May. Target had been in an extended downtrend. It broke below support. So let's zoom in again a little bit closer here. Target is trading at about $130.93. Again, I go out to my broker. I look for options that expire within 21 to 45 days. And then I look at the strike prices. If I sell a 135 call, it gives me a 64% chance. Because why? As long as it stays below that number, I win. If I sell a 140, it gives me a 76% chance of success. Why? Because if I stay below there, I make money. If I sell A at 145, now I have an 85% chance of making money. So out of these options, which one would you choose? Which ones would you choose? One or ones? All right. B, C. I see a lot of B's, some C's. David, Andrew, B and C. Okay, B and C. B, C, B, B. John, you mentioned B. All right, B and C. Well, let me tell you something. Those of you that said B, those of you that said C, those of you that said B and C, you're both right. Both of these options were okay to sell. Now, how would I choose between the two of them? Here's how you choose between the two of them. Your job as an option seller is to take a trade that gives you the most probability to win while managing the risk of the trade. If I could take the trade at 85% and still manage a $1,000 winner and a $1,000 loser, I would do it. Can't do that all the time. On this one, I was actually able to do that 76% probability. Why? Target last year was very much in the news. I don't want to get into political discussions, but they were very much in the news for a lot of reasons. Volatility was extremely high on Target. That allowed me to place a trade at 76% probability and maintain a really good risk reward. Now, this trade is called a bear call spread. Bear, because it's something you do when the stock is bearish. Calls, because now we're doing calls. I'm selling a 140 call and I'm buying a 145 call in the same transaction as insurance. As long as the stock stays below 140, I win. And that's exactly what happened to this particular trade. Okay, this trade really didn't go very far. It actually, was started at around 130 bucks, ended up dropping to like 127 7 days later, and I was able to exit my trade at my predefined profit level. Real quick note here. I say predefined profit level. You are not keeping this trade to expiration. We have a predetermined profit target. We have a predetermined exit level as well. We're not keeping the trade to expiration. Okay? Now, another client I worked with is Jim. He said prior to working with me, he told me his results were inconsistent. He felt unsatisfied. He kept thinking there had to be something else out there that was better. Have you ever felt that way? Like there's something more out there? Jim said he wanted a way to supplement what he was doing and would provide more of a regular income with a high probability of success. So after learning the same system, he said he had 21 winners in a row and returned about 76% in 8 months. He said his average trade, 8 days. That's perfect. Can you imagine how that must feel to go from being inconsistent to where all of your trades are generating income? Well, that was Jim. What about you? What would an income system like this allow you to do? So you do this, you implement it, you're averaging 3% per month. How would that affect your life? Give me some examples in the chat. What could you do with an account that was gaining on average about 3% per month? What would you be able to do? I'm going to take a little drink of coffee here and clear my throat because I'm getting a little scratchy here. All right. I see retire earlier. True. Retire a little bit earlier. Pay off debt. Pay off the house. Hey? Help my kids. Exactly. That second income stream helps. Okay? That's the beauty of it. Now, we said before that buying is gambling and selling is about controlling risk and putting the odds of success in your favor to generate income. The options paycheck system makes sure you have that guaranteed maximum risk. And it all goes back to whether you'd rather be the gambler or the casino, because keep in mind, the house always wins in the end. Being the option seller is the way that you can make consistent income. It allows you to do it safely and with a higher probability of success than just buying and selling stocks alone. Now, I want to put this together, and I want to show you how you can have a bulletproof system, which you can do in as little as 15 minutes a day. Don't believe me. Believe the clients who shared their stories with you. My students who've implemented this system have told me this is the most important thing they learned. Why? Well, one of the biggest things people ask me is how much time is it going to take me? And that's a great question. Well, here's the challenge. There's thousands of stocks out there. You got to know how to find them, pick the right stock with the right strategy. When do you get in? What expiration? What price? Where if the trade goes for you, against you, all that stuff. And people become overwhelmed. They're like, oh my God, there's so much information out there and I don't know where to look. And this is like finding a needle in a haystack. They spend hours trying to put trades together, going from guru to guru. Without a good system, you're trading blindly. You're like a mouse that runs through a maze, bumping into wall after wall. You don't know where to go. It's stressful. It's disheartening. But with the right system, you can identify good trades, get those reliable income, and little as 15 minutes a day. But you need a good system, not just any system, a straight line system, a simple way to know when to place your trades, how to find them, how to set them up, and how to manage them. So let me walk you through the pieces of the options paycheck system in the order they go in. No one else teaches option selling this way. This is like the secret sauce, if you will. There are 6 pieces, the top 5 build on each other, and then that 6 kind of ties it all together. Well, we start at the top with market direction. Now, a lot of traders just ignore this and they go out and start placing trades all over the place. you're going to be placing trades that are either bullish or bearish based on the current market direction. You're narrowing your focus. So instead of looking at everything, you're looking at one of two possible scenarios at a time. Our options paycheck system has a timing signal built in that we use to tell us that market direction. After you know the direction of the market, you're going to want to find stocks that are highly likely to move in the same direction. So just trading the stocks you know or listening to the gurus on TV is not the best choice for this. What you want to do is find good stocks already in uptrends when the market's rising, Pulte, for example, bad stocks that are falling when the market's in a downtrend, like we showed you with Target. Now, our options paycheck system saves a lot of time in two ways. We're going to look at two main things: fundamentals and price trend. We have pre-built searches in our VectorVest platform, which we use instead of digging through all the data that institutions throw at you. Now, once you have a list of stocks, you want to find a way to select the best ones for option trading. Earlier, we looked at how big of an effect volatility had on an options price. The options paycheck system focuses on selling options with volatility in the upper end of the range, but we don't stop there. To take even more risk out of the trade, we filter out those with upcoming earnings events, and we want to make sure that expiration is in that sweet spot of 21 to 45 days. Now, you can use tools from a broker to help. We happen to have a proprietary search tool which helps me find these in just seconds. Now you got to set up your trade. We pick the trade, like we talked about, that has the highest probability of success based on the strike price that we choose, but also managing the proper risk and reward. I can't be 90% right if I'm going to lose 10 winning trades on one loss. We want to make sure that we're managing these risk reward levels properly. Now, before you place the trade, you need to know what to do if the trade goes for you or against you. I don't want you sitting in a trade feeling frozen like a deer in the headlights because you don't know what to do. Our paycheck system has rules to take profits at predefined levels. These can even be set up in advance with your broker. And if a trade goes against you, we have an adjustment strategy that's very optional that can bring in more income that can help you minimize your losses. We also know exactly when to exit a trade, and with certain brokers, you can also set that up ahead of time. That way, it happens automatically. If the trade goes against you, you just get out. The system does it for you. Now, lastly, you want a way to do this quickly. You don't want to be spending all day on the process, so you need some tools that allow you to do these things. And it should be something you're very comfortable using. Now, some brokers have very good tools. Interactive Brokers has good tools. Tasty Trade has good tools. Thinkorswim from Schwab has great tools. Fidelity has great tools. Sometimes you might find a paid tool to be very effective. For example, I use our proprietary tool from VectorVest called Options Pro. Saves me a lot of time setting these guys up. Now, earlier we talked about Mike, we talked about Jim. Each of them is getting their results in about 15 minutes a day, and so is Hugh. He actually told me one of his biggest struggles was finding a system that was efficient and worked because he didn't have the proper balance between trading and free time. He said he didn't have that proper work-life balance. Are you like that too? Do you spend too much time doing things you don't want to do and not enough time doing things you want to? Now that Hugh learned the options paycheck system of selling options, he said he has more confidence, more free time, and is able to have more fun. In his first 43 trades, he had 38 winners and returned over $26,000 in 4 months. Now, I want you to do this. I want you to take your pen. I want you to look at this and put a little star next to the part of your system where you're actually pretty good at already. So listen, if you know a good way to find market direction, you find stocks pretty well that are going up or down, put a little star next to those. If you are lacking in a certain area, put a little frowny face. So if you've never traded options before, maybe a frowny face for option selection down. Maybe you've done this before, but you find that your losers are taking out your winners. Maybe trade setup and trade management would be weak spots for you. I don't want you to overthink this. I want you to take about 15 seconds and give yourself a star or a frown on each level of the system. Now, I'm willing to bet maybe 1 in 100 investors will ever know how to do this. So do me a favor, in the chat window, what areas do you need to work on? Just share with me. Hey, Ron, I need to work on option selection. Let me know, what areas do you need to work on? And speaking of, I see lots of market direction. I see lots of option selections. Ed, you mentioned tool for speed. Ron, trade setup. David, trade management. Clinton, option selection as well. Okay. I see option selection, all of the above. Nothing wrong with all of the above. We all have to start somewhere. Listen, the bottom line is this. I need you to get it to where you have stars all the way down, because once you do, you'll be able to duplicate what I showed you earlier, that 3% per month, and do it in less than 15 minutes a day. So listen, I don't know your exact reason for coming to today's webinar, but I'm going to make a few guesses here. Maybe you're trading blindly, bumping into wall after wall because you're not really knowing what to do. It's left you with inconsistent results. You're making some money, but then you give it all back on your next trade. Just like Jim said before he learned the options paycheck system. Maybe you're suffering through loss after loss. No small losses are killing your portfolio. Maybe the money coming in isn't exceeding the money going out. Maybe you're just not where you want to be. Now, today I showed you the secret to fixing that. And it's a secret, again, I bet only 1 in 100 investors will ever know, and now you're one of them. You saw it's possible to win even if you're wrong. How you can do it with very little risk. It's even less risk than buying and selling stocks. You saw the system to get consistent income every month. And I showed you just a few of the many, many people who use the system every day so they never have to worry about retirement again. You saw over and over the secret to generating consistent income is that shift from being the gambler to being the casino. You're now going to be that one investor out of 100 who knows the secret. That means there's going to be 99 other investors out there who are going to do things wrong. They'll be buying options, making all those mistakes we talked about. We can't stop them from doing it. There's always going to be those investors out there who want to be the gamblers. Let them be. Because as long as those gamblers are there, you may as well be the casino. Because you got to remember that old saying, the house always wins in the end. The options paycheck system is what teaches you how to stack the probability of success in your favor. Just like you saw Brian do. Just like you saw Bruce and Bob and Jim and Hugh and John. So if you're like most people, you're wondering, well, how do I implement the options paycheck system in my portfolio now? Well, you have a choice. Option number one, you can choose to do absolutely nothing and stay where you are right now. And if you already have enough money to retire, you're not really worried about running out of money, then maybe you don't need the options paycheck system. You're in a great place. But if you would like to make some extra income every month, that leaves you with two other options. Option two is you can do it alone. You can try to learn how the option trades work, try to figure out the direction of the market, try to analyze thousands of stocks to find the best one, hope you picked it, manage it right. If you're willing to work hard and spend hours in front of your computer, and most importantly, willing to learn by trial and error, you might be able to pull it off. But option number three is let us guide you through it. I'll walk you through each piece of the options paycheck system. In just a few weeks, you're going to have a simple system that you can follow that doesn't take you a lot of time. You know, there's two types of people. Person number one, who's someone who dreams about their financial goals, but they never take action or do anything to make it happen. Person number two is someone who's serious about their financial future. You're ready to make and take action when you see a good opportunity in front of you. And since you're dedicated enough to be with me to this point, I'm willing to bet you're person number two. And that makes you the perfect candidate to get started on that first options paycheck. So let me tell you what we put together for you. The Options Paycheck Experience is the most comprehensive program for generating consistent income using options, even if you've never traded in options before. The Options Paycheck Experience is the only implementation program of its kind that teaches the secrets to generating consistent income with options. Why? Because we show you exactly how to find, set up, and manage the option spreads. Not just option stuff, the whole package to generate income, and how to do it safely and consistently in any market condition so you never have that fear of running out of money. After going through the experience, you're going to know exactly how calls and puts work along with all the fancy terms. That way you no longer have to fear options. You're going to have clear signals telling you whether to place a bullish or a bearish trade and even when not to place a trade. You're going to be able to quickly identify the stocks that are the best candidates for your income trades. We're going to be using a rules-based approach, and that frees up a ton of time in your life. You're going to be able to set up an income trade so it gives you a 70% or better success rate, even if you've never traded an option before. You're going to have a trade management game plan in place prior to placing your trades. That way you know how to handle any situation the market throws at you. You're going to be able to confidently enter and exit trades with your broker like a pro, whether it's your first trade or your 500th trade. We're going to implement a system that allows you to safely and consistently generate income so you can live that lifestyle you want without the fear of running out of money. Now, the course is 8 modules, and we made them so each module builds on the one prior. So as you go through the modules, you're getting closer and closer to that end goal, which is that system for consistent income. Now, the first two modules, for those of you that are newer at options, pay attention to these ones. We call these the option income foundation. A lot of people try to build that successful income portfolio, but they base the portfolio on a weak foundation of knowledge. We totally understand what it's like to learn options for the first time. We've been there. That's why it pays to learn from a team who's gone through this before. The outcome you're going to get from module one is you're going to know exactly how calls and puts work so you can use them in your trades confidently. You're going to know which terms to pay attention to, which ones you can ignore. That way you're not wasting time or getting frustrated. In module two, we're going to discuss those two spreads we talked about and how they work. You're going to be filled with the confidence that you can use these spreads to start building your income system around these trades. Now that you got that solid foundation of options knowledge, it's time to lay out the step-by-step system to placing your income trade. That's going to generate those options paychecks. Each step along the way, we're going to stack probability in your favor and we're going to reduce risk. And it all starts with knowing when to trade. Here, we're going to get you complete clarity on market trends. So instead of looking at all the possible trades, you're going to narrow your focus. You're going to know whether to place a bullish trade or a bearish trade, even when not to trade. After you know the direction of the market, we're going to help you find stocks that are highly likely to move in the same direction. This is going to stack probably even more in your favor. The outcome here is you'll know how to quickly find the best stocks and indexes to trade. That's going to give you the highest probability. Now that you got that list of stocks, we're going to narrow it down to the best option candidates that give you the highest probability for profits. By using the rules in 5, you're going to make sure you're getting paid top dollar for your trade and then make it so you can make money even if the stock just goes nowhere. You're going to continue to stack probability and reduce risk in module 6 by the way you set up your trades. You're going to have that perfect combination of strikes, risk reward, and you're going to know exactly where to place your trade. These great trades, they don't happen by accident. They happen because of careful planning and setting them up correctly right from the start. Now that you've got your high probability trade picked out, you're ready to go. Module 7, you're going to have your plan in place before you take the trade. So you know whether to exit the trade, not only to take profits, but to minimize losses. You will never be frozen like a deer in the headlights again. You're going to know how to react in any condition, and that allows you to trade stress-free. Now that you got the best stock, you got your low risk, high income option trade, you mapped out your management plan, now you got to place the trade. Module 8 will break down the trade execution phase into simple, repeatable steps. You're going to be able to commit this to muscle memory in no time. We've put everything you need into a checklist. That way you never miss a step. When someone is first starting out, it's always comforting to have that security blanket to make sure you did everything correctly. Plus, placing trades with your broker can be very intimidating. So in addition to video walkthroughs of several popular brokers, we put together click-by-click directions for the most popular broker out there, Thinkorswim from Schwab. It's who I use, and you'll see a lot of it. Now, before we talk about the low price, I want to make this even more low risk for you. We offer a 100% money-back guarantee. You can go through the entire course, and if you're not satisfied we taught you how to profit using options, just notify us within a week of finishing the course. You can get all your money back. It's no risk. The only ask of us is you got to give it your best effort. Come to the live classes, watch the course via the recordings. I don't care how you do it. Do the assignments because we know if you do, you will see the results. If you don't do the work, you're not going to get the results. You're also not going to be eligible for a refund. You got to do the work. We want you to do this because we know you will be successful. Now, the reason why I have that refund policy is because I only want to attract those who are ready to jump in, do the work, and get the results. I want to attract a serious investor. In order to do that, when I make a refund policy like that, it's actually not that bad, really, if you think about it. You just have to do the course. That's it. I only attract people who are serious about those results. 3% per month, 36% per year. And it doesn't take a lot of time to do this every week. I received this email from a client who took the course. Ron, I'm writing to thank you for teaching the Options Paycheck course. I took your class last fall and wanted you to know my results for the past 10 months. I keep a journal to document every trade. So far, I've profited on 239 trades out of the 350 that I've taken. 68% winning rate. Profited over $100,000 in this time. What's more exciting is that since my knowledge and experience have grown in regards to taking really good risk-reward trades, I've profited over $50,000 in the last 6 weeks. My success rate has been 78% over my last 100 trades, and I only take trades with a 2 to 1 or better risk-reward. Thank you for teaching this very simple but effective system. Now, I want you to pay attention to something here. Joe said he took 350 trades. That's more than 2 times the amount of trades that I personally take a year. I take 3 or 4 trades a week on average. Sometimes I take a little bit more. I actually took like 8 trades today. Okay. But I take on average about 3 or 4 trades a week. But Joe, who's putting more time to this, takes a lot more. Brian, who you heard about earlier, places 1 trade a week. The beauty is this scales to you. That's the great part about this. If you want to be hardcore like Joe, do it. If you want to be passive like Brian, do it. If you want to be somewhere in the middle like me, do it. Okay? Now, if I went back there and said, hey, Joe, I'll give you 100 grand, all you got to give me is 2, that'd be a pretty damn good trade. Would you take advantage of that? Well, I got a great offer you're going to like too. You're going to have a great trade ahead of you. Now, before I tell you more about it, I want to point something out. It's important that you understand, again, this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's not something where you should expect to become a millionaire in the next 24 hours. It's serious. It requires some effort on your part. So if you can't commit to it, then don't do it. It's not for you. I want serious people who take their investing seriously, who are willing to put in the time to learn it. So if you're serious about it and you're ready to do the work, then the Options Paycheck Experience course is perfect for you. It's step-by-step training from the basics all the way to that full complete income system. Just these training modules alone are worth the price of the course, but I've also put together some bonuses for you as well. Bonus 1 is what we call the Mastery Package. The Mastery Package includes module by module mastery sessions. Each week, I want you to learn 2 modules. Okay? Then we're going to have a live mastery session on those modules. We're going to answer your questions. We'll do a quiz together. We'll do some assignments with you. Plus, on Friday, we have a Q&A session that's live. That means you're going to have 3 live sessions each week, giving you plenty of opportunities to ask questions and get help. The Mastery Package also includes private, dedicated email support with me and my team. Additionally, if you don't already have it, we're going to give you access to both VectorVest and Options Pro software that I use. That way you can test drive the best tools on the planet to implement this. With the Mastery Package, you're going to have the tools and support you need to master the techniques taught in the course. That way you're ready to place your first income in the shortest time possible. And we hear from a lot from our clients. Say, Ron, I wish you could just be there when we start putting our first trades on. Problem solved. The second bonus we give you is the implementation month. During this month, you're going to get access to my live trading sessions. I told you I put on 8 trades this morning. You'll get access to the class where I did that. I do these trades in real time. I'll show you how I manage my existing trades. It's a huge bonus. You're going to see the paycheck system in action, and you can follow along in your account if you want to. Now, I also hold live office hours twice a week. Together, we're going to walk through the system step by step in real time. Our past students said this was one of their favorite parts of the course because watching that repetition and seeing me actually implement this live with real trades really helps cement the concepts and process. Now, earlier I talked about you can do 1 trade a week. So if you're worried it might be too much to find the stocks and do all that, I'm including this bonus called the SPX Paycheck System. It's where I take the entire course, boil it down into something you can do in as little as 15 minutes a week. There's 1 trade you take. It's on 1 ticker symbol, 1 setup rule, 1 profit, 1 stop. It's simple. It's easy to do. My teammate, Brian, he actually taught this to his 14-year-old daughter at the time, and she was able to do the trades. For many of my students, this is the only system that they use. So as a recap with today's offer, you're going to get the Options Paycheck Training Program, the 8 training modules, the videos, the checklists, the cheat sheets, the quizzes, the slides, and more. You're going to get the bonus mastery package, the implementation month, the SPX Paycheck System. All told, value of $54.75. So here's the opportunity in front of you. I'm going to roll up my sleeves, work with a couple hundred people who are serious about generating income. So if you choose to be one of them, together we're going to create an income system in your portfolio, whether you've had success with options or not. We're going to do this. So if you want to join me, have me take you by the hand and help you install that options income system in your portfolio, then instead of that $5,000, the early bird price for the course is $12.95. Now, since you spent about an hour with me, I want to give a little special offer to those of you who are live today. If you order before the end of the live webinar, instead of paying $12.95, you can do it for $9.95. That means you get the full course, 1 year of access to the course materials, the mastery package, the implementation month, 2 months of Options Pro and VectorVest, all for $9.95. The $9.95 price is only for those who register before we finish up today. Once we finish, the price goes back up to $12.95. And listen, I get it, $9.95, it's a cost. But ask yourself what the cost is not to do it. How much are you going to lose out by trying to learn by trial and error? How much profit are you going to miss out on? How much time and energy are you going to spend trying to do this on your own? And then again, Ask yourself how things would be different if you did it and it worked. You know, there's an old expression that the best time to plant an oak tree is 20 years ago, so you can be sitting under it now enjoying the shade. You know when the second best time is? It's today. It's not too late to begin to prepare yourself for retirement and learn to generate income. This is going to be one of those deciding days in your life. Is it going to be the day you decide to take action and set yourself up for a secure retirement? Or is it going to be the day you look back on where you squandered an amazing opportunity to create that consistent income stream? I hope you don't regret the decision you make right now. Don't miss this opportunity because I look forward to working with all of you in class. So again, to register, go to www.optionspaycheck.com and get yourself registered. That $9.95 price is only available while we're live on the webinar tonight. It's about 6:05, so you probably got about 30 more minutes. You want the lowest possible price. Now is the time if you've never taken the course before. Okay? Now, while you're deciding or while you're signing up, I want to cover a couple important topics about the course. Number one is when does it start? What are the live sessions? What do I miss what happens if I miss one? All right, you're in luck. The live course actually starts tomorrow. In fact, registration closes tomorrow at 10 a.m. So you have to sign up by 10 a.m. I would tell you to sign up in the next 25 minutes or so to get that special price. Tomorrow at 4:30, we're going to have a live welcome session. Okay, live welcome session. Just to cover the course concepts, go over where all the materials are, what we expect from you, what you should expect from us, all that stuff. Laying out everything you need to know. Now, the way the course works is this. You are going to watch the mastery, or you are going to watch the modules on your own. So by tomorrow 4:30, if you come to, not tomorrow, Wednesday at 4:30, if you come to the mastery session, my want from you is to have watched the first module in our university site. Then you come on Wednesday and we're going to discuss it, answer your questions, really make sure you know the material. On Thursday, we're going to get together and discuss Module 2. As I said, I want you to learn 2 modules a week through the month of February. On Friday, we have an open Q&A at noon. The modules are at 4:30 Eastern Time. Okay? Now, we have 3 live sessions a week. Do you have to come to these live sessions? The answer is no, you don't. We record all of this stuff for you. So if you don't want to come to the live classes because your schedule doesn't work with that, that's okay. We record it all. The modules are already out there recorded, and then we'll record the mastery sessions each week as we go along. You can view them right after the live module is done. That's what February looks like. Now in March, we begin the implementation. Technically, we begin it on February 26th. That's where we do the S&P trades at 11 o'clock in the morning on Monday, and the stock trades at 2 p.m. on Monday also. Okay? Now, those are also recorded. If you want to come to those live and watch me trade, that's cool. You can do that. But if you want to watch the recordings, that's fine too. On Wednesdays at 4:30 Eastern Time, we have office hours. What do we do in the office hours? Answer questions. Look at trades with you if you want. I go over the process of finding trades again, just to completely build in that confidence. Wednesday's a cool class for you guys to watch. If you don't want to trade during the trading day and you work and you want to place trades at night for the next day, I'll show you how to take and look at markets after the market's closed and place trades for the next day on Wednesdays. Friday at noon, we have another office hours. Again, just another class where we can go over our trades, we can look for more trades, we can answer your questions, just giving us enough time live with you to make sure you are doing this correctly. All of this stuff is recorded. If you can view it live, that's great. If you can't, not a big deal. Everything is recorded. You know, another one of our recent graduates, Greg, said prior to the course, I struggled with knowing how to protect myself when the market was moving away from me, and I feared if I didn't fix it, I'd lose more of my portfolio than I could afford to lose. After taking the options paycheck, I feel better prepared to trade and much more confident. In the first month, I made a net of $10,200 from my options income trading with 9 winners and only 1 loser. I would absolutely recommend the course. It was well done, very educational and informative. It's an excellent educational opportunity that I'm thankful I took advantage of. Don't let fear hold you back. You'll make more in the first month than you paid to take the course. I was one of the fence sitters who didn't like this course or didn't take this course for a long time. When I saw it offered, I lost a lot by not taking the program sooner. I'm very grateful and appreciative of the work that was put into making this training program available. Appreciate that, Greg. That was a great answer and a great comment. Now, if you're worried that it might be too much, well, Ron, I'm new in options. How much options experience do I actually need? We've polled all of our prior attendees for feedback, and 85% of them said that you can be successful at this with little to no prior options experience. Modules 1 and 2 will take you from the ground floor. We developed those modules to take somebody with no options experience and get them up to speed in the quickest time possible. These are just some more clients that have taken the course over the course of the last 8 years. Cheryl, I've surpassed my expectations. I don't need the money back guarantee. I tripled my investment. Frank says after taking the course, I've already have a profit of 7,300. Before the course, it was a crapshoot. Now I believe in the options trades I'm doing. Cam made the initial investment back so many times over, even though it's a small part of my portfolio. It's probably the most profitable. Jake said I finally found a method of making consistent winning trades with a high probability of success. And our more recent graduates, Neville says, thanks for a wonderful course. Within a short period of time, you've opened our eyes to many things. Your experience, enthusiasm, and your desire to teach comes through easily. You put a lot of thought into the training manual, already paid for the tuition with a few Delta 35 trades. David said, Options Paycheck Experience is by far the best course I've attended in all my years of VectorVest since '99. You've eliminated my fear of trading options. The manner in which you presented the material is truly outstanding. And Ben said, the attention I received from all my email questions was above and beyond what I expected. A lot of my questions were demonstrated in class, and that made my learning much easier. So again, the opportunity in front of you, $9.95, get registered. You got about 20 minutes or so. That $9.95 price is only available while we're live today. After the webinar, up to $12.95. Registration closes at 10 a.m. tomorrow. So go to theoptionspaycheck.com, get yourself registered, get this special deal. We have a money back guarantee. If it doesn't work for you, you have that out. All right, so here's what I want to do next. One of my colleagues, Brian, who actually taught his 14-year-old daughter at the time how to do this, he's going to come on. He's been in the background answering questions. He's going to come on. We're going to do a Q&A session. So if you have any fears, doubts, whatever, let us know, and we will help you make your choice.
All right. Hey, Ron.
Hey, how you doing, Brian?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good.
All right. Great session. Lots of excitement in the chat box. Our team back here, John and Todd, have been busy answering questions and responding to people in the chat. So let's get right to it. By the way, before I get to the questions for Ron, just a quick reminder, like Ron just said, that the $9.95 is good for just a little bit here while we're still live. You could see when you go to the site, there's probably a little timer there. Oh, Ron's got it right there. So you can see there's 32 minutes left. And then registration actually closes tomorrow morning. All right, so today is we're running out of time. Like registration closes, and then our first live session with students is tomorrow afternoon. That's why when we close registration, we got to gather up all of our students who are in the class and make sure they're all registered for that evening session. All right, so take advantage of that. If you are in, check your email, because you'll get an email from us with all the details in it, how to get into the course, and start going through it. You could spend some time tonight and start going through maybe module 1, or even just jump ahead to the bonus session on the SPX, which a couple of you were asking about in the chat. So they were saying, hey, can I just do the SPX? We're like, yeah, you could just jump right ahead to it. All right, Ron, some questions for you. We had some people who were, even though you mentioned this a moment ago, they were wondering about like time issues, whether they needed to go to those classes. I know you specifically said that, so maybe you actually answered their question and they could let me know in the chat. But maybe it's worth repeating. If somebody says, how much time is this going to take? Do I have to attend all those classes? Why don't we just start off with that one, and then I'll do the follow-up question. But do they have to attend all those live classes? And if they miss one, can they watch it later?
Yeah, absolutely. So you do not have to attend the live classes. We tried, and if you look at that screen, it's like, oh my gosh, there's so many classes. It's going to take me forever. If you want to view all the classes, view everything, it might take you 4 hours a week, 4 or 5 hours a week to put into this. If you want to view everything we got, you don't have to. Our goal is to have lots of live material out there because we want to increase the probability, no pun intended, of you being able to attend one. If you can't attend the live class, it's no big deal. We record them. We usually have the recordings posted within 8 hours after the end of the live classes. If you have questions that you want to see, hey, Ron, I can't make the class tonight, but can you talk about this for me and answer this question? Shoot me an email. We'll put it in that class. We'll cover your question, and then you can watch the video at your leisure. So no, you don't have to attend the live sessions at all. We'd love for you to be there if you can, but if not, not a big deal because we have the structure in place to support you even if you're not.
All right, Ron, I was going through the surveys from our last group of students, and we didn't have time to put this into the slides, folks, but there was one of the questions asks about those live sessions that Ron does, the coaching sessions that you're invited to. And I saw a response in the surveys that I just had to read to Ron. So Ron does not know what I'm about to say. Ron, there's a gentleman who said, I took off of work because I thought those sessions were so valuable. So while you can miss the sessions, folks, like Ron just said, you don't have to attend. Someone was like, man, these are so awesome. I'm going to be taking off of work just to come see these things. You all don't have to do that if you don't want to, but they're actually, there's some pretty good info in there, or you could just watch the recordings. That's good too. All right. Next up, Ron, is the question about the size of an account that somebody needs. Is there a certain size? Like, can they do it with a small account, or what would you say would be the ideal size account?
Yeah, I mean, you can start with as little as $5,000. And again, be realistic, right? Don't open up a $5,000 account and say, I'm going to make 10 grand this month. It doesn't work like that. Okay, it just doesn't. That's not real trading. If you want to try to do something like that, that's that home run philosophy. That's not what I do. You can open up a $5,000 account, make a couple $100 a month. You know, if you average 3% per month on $5,000, you're talking, what is that, $150 a month? Up 4 or 5%, $250 a month. It doesn't sound like a lot, but as I showed you earlier, that starts to compound itself as you build that account. Now, if you want to start with something a little bit more, with a little bit larger, so you can kind of do a couple more trades, I would say 25,000 is a good starting amount if you can. You know, that gives you the opportunity to take some index trades. You could take a couple stock trades. You know, I traded 100,000. I've got people that traded a $500,000. It's completely up to you, but you can legitimately start with a $5,000 account, trade one index trade a week, and still make money. That's the beauty of this.
All right. Next up, Ron, like I said, I was just going through the surveys, and you actually, one of the questions that we ask on the survey is, what is your, before you signed up for the class, what was your biggest hesitation? And there were two, and you addressed one of them already. One of them was time issue. Like the people were either working or they were just wondering how much time it was going to take to either learn it or do it. So if you wanted to add any more to that, you can, or do you think you answered that previously?
Yeah, I did that previously. Like I said, it's you know, it's good. I'll leave it that simple.
All right. Well, the other one that came in was they were hesitant about the cost, because obviously $995 is an investment. It's not like just going to McDonald's and getting a Happy Meal or something. It's an investment.
Pretty close nowadays.
Yeah, I know, right? But if you were talking to those people who are in today's webinar who are feeling that same hesitation, what would you say to them?
You know, I would say that, you know, at the end of the day, that's why we have that money back guarantee. You know, I want you to be able to make the decision to take this course with confidence, because you know inside at the end that you have that out. Okay, you have that out that you could have. So to me, it's all about the money back guarantee. You have essentially a risk-free trade. We are putting our money where our mouth is, saying, listen, you can do this. You will be able to do this, and you will be able to be profitable. That's really what it all comes down to, in my opinion.
All right, cool. Another quick reminder, the $995 is good for another 20 some odd minutes. Ron, why don't we do this really quick? We'll take people on a tour of the course in just a sec, but I saw you had the website up to order. Why don't we just show that really quick and just kind of walk everybody through what it's like. So if you all go to this site, go to optionspaycheck.com, and you click on the button that says register today, it'll bring you down to the part of the page that has the spot where you could click to buy. And when you click on the buy now and save button, it'll present you with an order form. I just want to talk about one quick thing. If you already have a username and password for VectorVest, which the majority of you do, all you have to do is click sign in at the top. And when you hit sign in, it'll know who you are. And then all you have to do is go through the order process that way. That way the course gets put on your account. The only reason you would fill in the stuff right there on the screen that says first name, last name, email, and password is if you're brand new to VectorVest. If so, welcome to the family. And just fill in that information, then it will create an account for you and you'll be ready to go. And of course, the course will be put on your brand new account. But Ron, before we get to any other questions, maybe you could just take people on a quick tour of what the course looks like. This is like a behind the scenes access to, so people can see what it looks like inside of the course.
Sure. So earlier on, I mentioned that, in our university site, well, this is what the university site looks like. So over in the left-hand side, this is really the table of contents, if you will. So right off the top, you're going to see the Welcome to the Options Paycheck Experience. And there's a Let's Get Started video, which is kind of it's a short video that just kind of outlines, what we're looking to do. There's going to be a live welcome recording that we're going to make tomorrow. So tomorrow at 4:30 is our welcome session. But the most important thing out of that first index, if you will, is print out this checklist. So under the course curriculum checklist, print this out because this is a nice little 6-page document that really has a checklist for everything. So for Module 1, how do you know if you're done with Module 1? Because you've done all of these things in Module 1. If you have any questions, just write them down here, and then you can take them to the mastery session. But the most important thing is actually at the end of this. This is a not live, but this is a table of all of our live sessions that we're going to have with you through the next 2 months. So as you can see, tomorrow, January 30th at 4:30 is our welcome session. Wednesday, the 31st, is going to be Module 1's mastery session, and that'll give you all of what we're doing through the 2 months of the course. Now, every one of our modules you'll see below are outlined the same way. I told you earlier that all of the modules are already recorded out there for you. So you go to recorded lessons. There's all the different lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3, lesson 4. These are all usually between 5 and 15 minutes long, these videos. So we want you to make sure you're doing all of those recorded lessons. Then there's a review question section where we have a little quiz that you can take to make sure you understand everything. There's an action items walkthrough where every module has some action items that we want you to do. Go out there and find delta in your options broker. Go try to find probability. And we walk you through that. There's a frequently asked questions section. And then finally, at the bottom of every module, you're going to see the mastery session recording. As I said, after every live mastery session, we post up the recording. So if you open that up, you'll actually see that we have a session there already. That's the one back from November 1st I did last year. About 8 hours or so after I do the live session on Wednesday, that'll be replaced with the one from January 31st. So we update these every time we do a live session. Now, as I scroll down, I'll go through all 8 modules. They're all set up the exact same way. And then right below the module 8 is the SPX paycheck system. If you're interested in learning the SPX system first, I would encourage you to do the 35 Delta trade. That's going to be the trade that's going to give you the most results the fastest. That's the trade that I use every week. I would recommend that one. And then right below that, these are all the Q&As. Remember, we have Q&As on Fridays during the first 4 weeks of the class. So the one that I do on Friday will be under this week 1. If you open that little link up there right there, it says the one from November 3rd. About 8 hours after we do the one live with you on Friday, that'll be updated. As you get into week 5, 6, 7, and 8, these are going to be all your office hours recordings. A little bit farther down, this is the place where we're going to put the live trading sessions. Remember, we record everything. And by the way, if you want to see some live trading sessions that I did last year, you can open this up right now, and you can see the trades that I did with my students last year through the month of December. Those, of course, will all be updated in March when we start doing live trading together. As part of your package, you get Options Pro for 2 months along with VectorVest for February and March. If you want to learn a little bit more about Options Pro, there's some tutorial videos. I wouldn't focus more on the tutorial videos personally. We walk you through the steps of Options Pro as we go through the curriculum. We have broker help videos for Thinkorswim, E-Trade, IB, Ally, and Fidelity. And finally, this is one of the most important areas I want you to know right off the bat. We send out a reminder 24 hours before every live webinar with a link. If for some reason that link doesn't get to you, because that happens, right? Sometimes if you have Yahoo Mail, it blocks it, Gmail, Outlook, who knows? It goes to clutter, it goes to spam. Sometimes you just don't get the live webinar link you need. Here's all the sessions from the course curriculum checklist. If you ever find, oh my gosh, it's Wednesday, it's 3 o'clock and I can't find my link, go into webinar links, click on the live webinar, and guess what? There's the links. All right, I don't have my link for Mastery Session 2 and it's almost starting. Click there. That's your link to take you into that Mastery 2 class. We update those every single week. Okay, so that's very important. That's your link, just in case it doesn't come through email. And as it says right here, you should receive an email from GoToWebinar, but sometimes it doesn't happen. Under resources, this is where you can download all of the slides and the action item worksheets, as well as when we get into the later modules like 7 and 8, our position sizing worksheet, and of course, our checklist that we talked about earlier, as well as the checklist for the SPX trading system. So that's it. That's how you're going to learn the entire system. That's going to be your base of operations for the next 2 months.
All right. Fabulous. Ron, if it's okay, can I just read some of these comments from the last survey?
Sure.
Of students? It's folks, for those of you who don't know, you get these surveys back. It takes some time to reach back out and get the testimonials finalized and get pictures and everything, but I think I could just read these to you. But I don't know. I'm just going to read some of them. One gentleman said, we would say, would you recommend this course? He says, I would recommend it. It provides additional tools for investors. Give it a shot. This next gentleman said, the course gave me more confidence to reach my financial goals. Emotionally, it makes me sleep better at night, knowing I have a proven system to make consistent income. I'm up about $11,000 since I took the course. And so we send out these surveys about a week after the course ends. He said, I would 100% recommend this course. Very easy step-by-step instructions to be successful. I wish I would have taken it much sooner. Next person said, absolutely. Ron is a great teacher. When asked if they would recommend it. This other gentleman said, the bonus trading sessions more than paid for the course. I said, after having a terrible year in 2022, this helped me to be more confident going forward. I made $2,200 in the month of December just doing SPX trades. And then there was a gentleman who, from Canada, it looks like, said, I had 3 successful SPX trades. I'm much more confident with my broker software, Questrade. I've also been paper trading on another broker software as it has lower fees, IBKR. I feel it has a repeatable and reliable system. And he says, I would definitely recommend this course. It's comprehensive and practical. And there's a ton more that I could just read through. But we hope that you're going to be the next person to fill out a great testimonial and get results for yourself, because it's all about improving your life going forward. And we look forward to having you do that. All right, Ron, there's a few other questions that came in. A couple of people who have taken the course before. They are alumni, and since you've been teaching this for about 8 years, we have some people who took it years ago, and they're like, man, I just want to get a refresher. So if you fall into that category, like a gentleman named Mike in the chat was asking about this, let us know in the chat, and we can get you a specific link just for you, because the price as a refresher is only $495. Or you could just call our office. I'm going to put the phone number in the chat. It's just 888-658-7638. So if you've taken the course before and you want to take it again, as long as it's been about a year or more since you've taken it, you can get a refresher at that discounted rate. Okay. All right. Let's see. So as far as brokers go, Ron, I see some people are mentioning brokers in the chat. Is there a specific broker that you prefer? Is there some that they shouldn't use? Or what do you have to say about brokers?
Yeah, it's really up to you. I mean, I use Thinkorswim from Schwab. I have an account with Fidelity that I use. I find those brokers, easy to use. Though that's really what a lot of my clients use, between Fidelity and Thinkorswim from Schwab. But ultimately, any broker, you're not going to probably be able to use a broker like Robinhood or something, but any mainstream broker is going to have the options, things that you need. Your Fidelities, your Schwabs, your, Quest Trades in Canada, your Interactive Brokers, any of the mainstream brokers are really going to be fine for you to work with. It really just comes down to what you're most comfortable using. But like I said, I happen to like Thinkorswim. I've been using them for a long time. I started using Fidelity in an IRA middle of last year that I find to be good. That's how I did the videos with that. But it's really up to you. Most brokers that are like not your your Robinhood types are going to work just fine for this.
All right. And with that, Ron, I'm trying to double check here. Looks like we're fine. There's one more question that we're going to answer in the chat. And I think that might just do it. So if we are, yeah, today is the Monday. So tomorrow is the last time to get in. Tomorrow morning. I can't believe it's almost time already, Ron, for us to start the class with everybody. So today is the final day to get in, the final evening, I should say. And then tomorrow is going to be the last morning to get in. So $9.95 goes away in a little bit. If you've already taken the class about a year or more ago and you want a refresher, call our office and a member of our team can help you out. But then the $9.95 goes away in a little bit and it goes back to $12.95, and that price will go away at 10 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow. But if you do have any other questions, just give our team a call at the phone number that's in the chat, and we look forward to talking to you. But I'm going to pass it over to Mr. Ron Wheeler to wrap up for the evening.
All right. Thank you, Brian, and thank you to all of you, especially for sticking with us here for this 90 minutes. I hope you got some great, valuable information about options trading and how we do it. Most importantly, I hope you made the choice to be with us for the next 2 months, because I know if you did, you're going to have a really great experience and you're going to be setting yourself up for some great success here in 2024. So thank you once again. I appreciate it. Best of success to all of you. Hope to see you tomorrow in our live welcome, or hope to have you watch our recording after we do it. But in any case, I want to thank you once again. Have a great evening, everybody, and best of success to you in 2024. So thanks again, everyone, and have a good night.